We're back with another tier list in Squad Busters. Today, though, I'm going to be ranking every modifier from worst to best. And we're going to be starting off with Golden Boots, and it's going to go in please delete, because it sucks, quite frankly. So the issue with Golden Boots is it actually doesn't add anything in the game. It's just a blue turbo that you can't control. It lasts forever. And if you run out of that Golden Boot, sometimes you might not be able to find another one for like 10, 15, 20 seconds. And in that time, well, you're going to get killed by someone else, or you're just going to fall behind really badly. Now, a little tip for if you are going to play Golden Boots is a Golden Boot will last for 20 seconds. So if you have 3/4 of a Golden Boot left, that is 15 seconds. In that time, it might take you about 15 seconds to find another Golden Boot. So I would usually go ahead and search for some more Golden Boots while I'm doing that. Also, picking a Hog Rider in Golden Boots, although a lot of people say is dumb, it's not dumb, because if you run out of Golden Boots, like I just said, you're going to be screwed. And the next modifier we're going to put in the tier list is going to be the brother of the Golden Boots. It's going to be Turbo Overload. And it's actually going to go a tier above Golden Boots in I do not enjoy. Now, the thing about Turbo Overload is it just gives you a lot more turbo. It's not a mode I hate. And honestly, in this whole tier list, there's not really any modifier I hate apart from Golden Boots. Every modifier is actually pretty decent. But Turbo Overload, it doesn't add anything to the game. You just get a couple Turbo Boots, which I guess can be cool, but I don't really enjoy it as much as other modifiers. Next up is Spell Overload. Again, in I don't enjoy, it adds even less than Turbo Overload, so it's actually going to go below that. Now, the one thing about Spell Overload is it's actually a good time to run Trader and Bandit and Mavis, aka a farming squad. The reason for that is because if someone wants to get really aggressive on you, well, you can just run into 532 different type of spells, drop every single bomb, lightning, log spell on them, and then you'll get away. So this is the one modifier where I will usually go out of my way to run Trader or Bandit. It's pretty good. And then lastly, in I don't enjoy, it's going to be Monster Pets. Again, the pets don't do anything for you. The only way that Monster Pets could be good is if they rebrand it to Monsters Overload and you just get like double monsters in the map, or the monster pet actually joins your squad so it can be useful. I don't know, what do you guys think about those changes? In my opinion, I don't enjoy it. It doesn't add much and it doesn't change the way that you play the game. Anyways, we're now going to move on to Air. Air is just it's not I don't enjoy it, but it's also nothing special, and we're actually going to put in Gem Hot Pot. So the thing about Gem Hot Pot is it's a little bit luck based because the hot pots don't spawn directly in middle, they spawn randomly. So you kind of have to get lucky and hope a hot pot spawns near you and not near someone else. My tip for this modifier is run DPS and tanky units. So when you have the hot pot, no one wants to go for you because you're going to be strong and tanky. And at the same time, you should definitely get a Hog Rider or maybe a chicken or two, because the chickens or the Hog Rider is just going to allow you to rush those hot pots and get that gem advantage. Next up is going to be Timeout. It's in Air, and honestly, I haven't died in Timeout since they've made the changes to Timeout to where now it doesn't go double in the final minute. The thing about Timeout is it's just not really good anymore. People don't really die to the clocks, which I guess is a good thing, but at the same time, I felt like that's what made the modifier feel so different and stressful. Now I feel like I could easily get a couple time clocks and I'll be fine. But yeah, if you're going to run this modifier, just go for the monsters. Who cares? And actually running Mavis or Greg is actually pretty good because they drop clocks as well, and a lot. Next up in Air is going to be Crystal Forest. Now, if this was based on Squad League, I would put Crystal Forest up in there all right, but if you're not in Squad League, I will put Crystal Forest down into I don't enjoy. So for the sake of the video, we're going to put it in the middle. And the reason I say that is because if you're in Squad League, you're on an even playing field. It's whoever can farm and fight, I guess, the best. And if you're not in Squad League, well, if somebody's running a bunch of traders and you don't have trader in your rotation, you're losing that game. You're not even going to get top 5. Trader is broken in this modifier. So if you have a trader in your rotation, only pick trader, only pick turbo, and go for those trees. Next up is going to be Hatchling Herder. A month ago, I would have put it down in I don't enjoy, but we all know Hatchling Herder got changed a little bit now. You can't actually bomb the chickens anymore to get them in your squad, so it's not as annoying as it used to be and as luck based. But with that said, there are a couple tips to win Hatchling Herder, and that is run splash damage. Ice Wizard, Primo, Shelly, Dynamite, Colt, those are all really, really good troops I will always pick in this modifier because you want to get everybody's hatchlings and destroy their entire squad at the same time. Next up is going to be Loot Surge. There's not really much to say about it. No real tips either. You already get a bunch of turbo boots, so do not pick a chicken in this modifier. Next up is Royal Horn, again in Air. Now, if you have a bandit in your rotation, use that. Bandit against the ghost is actually crazy because the ghost will drop extra gems if you have a bandit. So the bandit will do what the bandit does, but again, against ghosts. So that is pretty good. Also running splash damage, just like Hatchling Herder. Again, it's going to be really good in Royal Haunt. You want to make sure you're taking over those ghosts to control the map, because if you follow your ghosts around, you can actually really bully other players. Next up is going to be Whack-A-Mole. Now, the thing about Whack-A-Mole is that mole in middle is a pain in the butt to kill, because you keep getting those little spinny things coming up and making it so your troops cannot move. And that really annoys me. And honestly, if you take out the big mole in middle, well done. Everybody else is going to get the loot. You're going to get like 10% of the loot, and everyone else is going to get 10% of the loot, because it just spreads out everywhere. What they need to do with this modifier is make it so 50% of the gems and coins spawns at the very center of where the mole dies, and then the other 50% spreads out. That way you get really rewarded for killing the Whack-A-Mole, and then other players obviously can get some loot as well. We are now going to be moving in They Are All Right. Modifiers that I think are pretty all right. They're not bad, actually. And we're going to start off with Chest Imposters. Now, the thing about Chest Imposters is if you are an aggressive player, you are going to love this modifier, because when someone runs away from you, as they'll usually do if you're aggressive, they can't open up any more chests because they're all Chest Imposters. So you can easily take advantage of them and abuse them. Also, the big chest menace in middle is always satisfying to kill, and also he drops a lot of gems when he does his little jumpy thing. Now, a little tip with this modifier is if you put a building in the very center of the map, the chest menace actually can't reach middle, meaning you can take him out very quickly and try get all the loot. Next up is going to be Gem Overload. Not really any tips to say for this modifier. You get a bunch of gems. I personally will run DPS in this modifier, and then I might not go for kills, but I will try to take out some of people's troops, because you get so many gems in this modifier. If you take a couple of people's troops out, you'll get a bunch of gems that they will drop. So it's pretty good for that. Next up is going to be Super Ice Spirits. This modifier was so close to being a solid modifier. The only issue is those Ice Spirits are a little bit annoying to take out. And when you do take them out, they turn into 3 Ice Spirits that then go their separate ways. They don't attack you. So they're just kind of annoying to chase down and take out. But it is a decent modifier. Time for Epic Overload in They're All Right. Now, here's the thing with Epic Overload. If you have a Trader or Bandit in rotation, run Trader and Bandit. It is OP. Do not fight people, just farm, because common troops and rare troops in Epic Overload are as if they are epics, because they are really, really, really rare to come across. So because of that, it means you can abuse traders and bandits so much more than other modifiers to get first place. Now, if you are going to be running DPS in Epic Overload, my suggestion is don't fight until near the end of the game, or only if you think someone's much weaker than you. For some reason in this modifier, people are so aggressive. I don't know why. I think everybody thinks they're OP because they have epics, but what they don't realize is everyone else has epics, so they're equally as OP. My point is, if you wait until the final 30 seconds of a game, everybody's fighting, getting weak squads a lot more than usual because it's Epic Overload. And if you have that big epic squad, you can just go in, clean people up, and well, win. That's what I usually do. Next up is Super Gem Mine. Not much to say. Get speed. Speedster units are really amazing in this modifier, especially a Hog Rider. You just run in, take some gems, run out, go farm, run in, take some gems, run out. It's pretty decent. Another fun fact about this modifier is the Super Gem Mine will actually explode at 10 seconds remaining. Normally, the gem mine will explode at 15 seconds left in the game, but in this modifier, it's 10 seconds left. Next up is Tree Giants. Some more fun facts with this modifier as well. Greg actually does more damage against Tree Giants than normal players because it's a tree, which is actually really, really cool. And it's a little tip that some of you guys might not have known. Another thing is Tree Giants actually have not a lot of health. I think they have similar health to a Kaiju. Yeah, so they are pretty easy to kill. In fact, they have less health than an Optimus Prime. So if you're gonna play this modifier, actually go for the Tree Giants. Don't be too scared about people taking you out and stealing your kill. It's not really that much investment to kill the Tree Giant. It's worth it. And if you have a Greg, you'll take it out very quickly. And lastly, for They're All Right, we are gonna be putting in Pinata Party. Another modifier that I like. The only issue is this modifier is a lot better when there's that big Pinata in middle, although that only happens when the Pinata event is going on. But it's still a pretty fun modifier. You get spells, you get coins, gems, sometimes you'll get a key from the Pinata. I don't mind it. All right, it's time for solid modifiers. Modifiers which are amazing, solid, I love them. And we're gonna start off with something that you guys are gonna hate me for, Rain Grab. Please don't hate me. So the thing about Rain Grab is it's a very, very toxic and enraging mode. And now you guys know me, I am a very, very toxic player. So it's very fun. Now, my tip for this modifier is run units that are very tanky. I wouldn't run squidgy units because they'll get taken out, specifically bow and dynamite maybe. I would just run units like tank, Barbarian, things that do a lot of damage. Or if you're going to run something a bit more squidgy like a Dynamite or a Colt, make sure you're fusing them up, otherwise you will get taken out. Another thing is you can actually do what I do and wait until the final minute in this modifier and then just take out one of somebody's troops and they drop all their rings. Next up is Fusion Start. This is a modifier that I feel like I shouldn't like because all you get is a fuse unit at the start, but I still love it. Now, if you're playing this modifier, pick the best troops you can. If you have a reroll, which you will have because it's when the game starts, use your reroll. I will usually always use my reroll because there's a chance you could get an epic or a really good rare, and then that will give you an incredible advantage. That's just a tip I would do. Next up is 1 coin chest. This is another solid modifier I love. My suggestion here is make sure you're getting Hog Rider or chickens. Speed is so important. You need to rush those chests to build a bigger squad before everyone else builds a bigger squad. Also, splash damage units are godly on this modifier, so Dynamite, El Primo, Cole, etc, etc, etc. Another thing is, if you don't want to run DPS, run the exact opposite. Just run traders and like a Hog Rider and a chicken and a max. Run away from everybody, farm like crazy, because in this modifier, you can get so many traders and win so easily. It's a little bit risky, but if you have enough speed, no one's going to kill you. Next up is Golem Meteors. Again, very satisfying. When the golems drop from the sky, they drop a lot of gems at the same time. If you actually rush middle early-ish, you can get a bunch of gems from the golems that spawn in middle. It's actually quite fun. Next up, we have Gift Critters. This is a little bit like Pinata Party, but a lot more fun because the Gift Critters, well, they drop a lot more gifts. And also, I love killing those batches of like 6 to 8 Gift Critters in middle. You know, the real small ones. I love killing them. They're so satisfying. This is a good modifier. No real tip for this. You can run trade if you want. You can run DPS. There's no secret. Just play and have fun. All right. Now, this one, you guys are going to think I'm a little bit of a psychopath, but Angry Vines. I actually like Angry Vines. I think it's not bad. My suggestion with Angry Vines is if you can, at the very start of the game, run a Mavis or a Greg and just start farming. Very early on, though. Don't wait. Do it early. The reason for that is because you can actually get a lot of coins, build up a very strong squad, and even though your Mavis and Greg is pretty much useless in the final minute when the Angry Vines are pretty much forcing you into the very center, at least you spent the start getting such a big squad. You can then just pick really strong units and punish everybody. It is time for the best of the best. My 3 favorite modifiers in the game, and in 3rd place, we're going to be putting Dopplegangers. This used to be my favorite modifier. It has gone down 2 spots though. Now the thing with Dopplegangers is if you can run Chicken and Goblin, do so. They are some amazing troops to run. Now the best troop in this modifier used to be Barbarian King because it was so tanky. It did a lot of damage. Its Iron Pummel ability was broken and it would just stun people and take him out. But the new best troop in Dopplegangers is the Miner. Some of you guys who watch a lot of my videos would have seen videos where I've ran Miner in Dopplegangers and I've just absolutely destroyed people's squads because when you're underground with the Miner, you can't be killed. So you can actually beat Barbarian Kings and Optimus Primes with a Miner. It's a lot of fun. Next up, we're going to be putting in Loot Goblin Rush. I'm going to put that just above Dopplegangers. The thing with Loot Goblin Rush is it's a ton of fun. Colt is actually really good in this modifier. And now, for you bow lovers out there, this is a modifier where I will give you permission, use bow. It's actually pretty good. Another good troop to run in this modifier is going to be the Trader, not the Bandit. Fun fact, the Bandit doesn't drop bonus gems from the Loot Goblins, which is actually a little bit weird, but running a Trader in this modifier is broken. Also, a free spell used to damage the Goblins a bunch. It doesn't anymore, but it's still good to throw a free spell in middle to slow down the Goblins to take them out quickly. Now, for my favorite modifier in the entire game, it's actually recently become my favorite. It is going to be Double Trouble. This is just such a good modifier, dude. It's so fun. Now, in this modifier, it's going to be a little bit like 1 coin chess. You're going to want to run either farming only or DPS only. At least that's what I do. Splash damage is also ridiculously OP in this squad because people are going to have such big squads. Running things like Dynamite and Cole and Shelly, etc., it's just going to have a lot more value because everyone's squads are about 10 times bigger. And they're also a lot more confident when their squad is bigger. So usually they'll stand still to try fight you, even though you've got splash damage, taking out their entire squad. But yeah, it's just a lovely modifier. I've got no complaints there. Anyways, this is it. My tier list for every modifier in the game. I know a lot of you guys will think I'm a psycho for putting Ring Grab and Angry Vines in solid modifiers. And you know what? I'm sorry. I'm a psychopath. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. A little bit different. What other tier list videos do you want to see though? Let me know in the comments below. Check out my last video. It's on screen right here. But also, more importantly, use code Claz in the Squad Busters shop if you ever buy anything. Otherwise, I will cry. Anyways, I'll see you in this video.